real quick, if you leave a comment below, I'm going to be selecting a winner from the comments once a month to win either this really cool, awesome t-shirt that's totally unique for Inspireful Women, or a cool houseplant just like this, your choice. So leave a comment and let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and go over body positioning for the box steps. So what I want to teach you first is how to step up and then back down onto the non-working leg first, just so that you get a feel for where your center of gravity is and where your torso is. The goal here is pretty much to be really feeling it in the quads. So you want to be feeling it in the front of the thigh here. And to do that, we really want to work on keeping our torso nice and upright. So one mistake I was making when I was learning these was that I was bending my torso over too much. So one way to get a feel for how it should be is by first stepping up and totally back down. Okay, so we'll do that first. So you just stand in front of your step here, go ahead and lift one leg and put it on the step. Again, start with like an 8-inch step, but as you get better, ideally you still don't want to go to a point in height where your knee and hip is bent more than 90 degrees. Once you get way up here, the muscles are in a weaker position and it's going to be very difficult to do with good form, like no matter what. So max about 90-degree bend of hip and knee as far as height goes. But we're going to start lower. So we're right here. And all we're gonna do, keeping the torso nice and upright, is we're just going to step up, pressing down into the heel and foot of the foot that's on the step. So we're not gonna use our non-working leg to like push off of, okay? We're just gonna use this foot here, these muscles, to step up onto the box, right? And straight knee and hip at the top here, okay? Then you're going to come back down and shift your weight to that non-working leg. Okay, so now my weight is on my non-working leg, the one that's standing, and this doesn't have weight on it right now. Okay, so then we're gonna stand back onto the working leg again, like this, and back down. Now, if you'll notice, when I do this, my torso is nice and upright, right? So, just get a feel for this. One more thing I wanna show you here from the front is that when you step up, and this will apply to both versions, when you step up, you really want to work to keep your hips and waist parallel and level. So parallel to the ground and level, which means that as you step up, the whole thing comes up together, versus this side being higher and this side kind of dropping. See that? Dropping as you step up. So because when we step up, this leg now has like, it's just dangling, it's easy for our hips to kind of drop on this side, okay? So you want to use the muscles on this side of your body to contract to keep the hips level. So you really, if you can use a mirror, it's really helpful to make sure, and that's where sometimes we start with too high of a box, because we're like, I just want to like feel like I can do a hard version, but when we do that, we'll find that there's a lot of this whole hip movement here, and when we do that, we're bending through the spine and we're not actually working the leg muscles the way we want to. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so we have learned how to do this part, keeping the torso upright, using this working leg to press through that foot. Whole foot is on the box, right? So now we're gonna just kind of keep in our minds like, okay, the feel of where our body was in space with our torso being as upright as possible. We're going to apply that feeling, and now what we're going to do is, starting on the top of the box, we're going to do all our reps, so say up to 8 reps, 10 reps, with just one leg, meaning we're not going to step all the way down and transfer our weight to the non-working leg anymore. Instead, we are going to keep all of our weight on this working leg here on top of the step, and we're going to bend at the knee and ankle especially, and just kind of gently touch down the ball of the foot or the toes of the non-working leg, but we're not going to shift our weight onto it, okay? I'm trying to do it slowly and talk, and I'm not doing a very good job of it, so I probably look a little wobbly, but we'll do it quietly in a minute where I can actually focus. But yeah, just keep in mind that the idea here is that there will be just a little bit of a bend here in the hip as well, but we don't want to be starting to lean over, kind of like a deadlift, okay? So try to think about sinking straight down. Our torso will have to come forward just a little bit, just since we aren't actually shifting our weight back in this case, right? We're staying on this leg. but we want it to be as little as possible, and that's so that we can really feel it here in our quads. So what's going on here, sorry, I'm just almost thinking out loud at this moment, is that the knee comes forward, okay? So you wanna think about sinking straight down rather than our butt going back, right, like in a deadlift. Instead of that, we're sinking straight down, and so that means the knee comes forward from the ankle, it's over the ankle, and then it comes forward over the toe. Does that make sense? So the ankle and the knee are bending, and it comes forward, right? Just like so. And then that non-working leg just kind of gently taps, and then we come back up. So we're sinking down, trying to keep that torso as upright as we can. And I really feel it in here right now. Hi, I'm Rizal. If you're a woman in your over 40s like myself, you've been wanting to get into resistance training, but up to this point you've felt kind of intimidated, worried about getting hurt, not sure how to do it correctly, I really try to create in-depth tutorials that break these movements down for you, help you know what to avoid, what to do exactly. I'm a person who needs lots of detail, so that's what I try to provide in my tutorials. If you like my style of teaching and you'd like to keep learning with me, come on over to my website at inspirefulwomen.com. Now I'm going to switch my legs so that you can see what my non-working leg is doing a bit more, and also what not to do. So here I'm on top, my working leg is here away, kind of on the opposite side of you right now. And I'm just going to practice that whole thing where I step back onto the non-working leg and shift my weight each time, just so that I can kind of get a feel for that nice upright torso, right? Okay, so now, whoa, falling off, not looking where I'm going. So now I'm gonna try to maintain that nice upright torso, going straight down, the knee coming forward, and knee and ankle bending quite a bit, right? And then this leg here is just bent and it just taps down. And we're not really trying to like stretch that non-working leg back. If we stretch the leg back to tap, then we're just bending less here on the working leg. So the idea is, you know, you can use a lower step, but the idea is to try to keep this leg just bent how it is, right? Clearing the box that you're on, and just kind of leave it like that. And then use that working leg to bend down far enough so that the toes or ball of the foot touch the ground, and then come back up, right? So just like that. I'm trying to do it slow so you can see what I'm doing. So just like so. Let's do a few. Now, one other thing to not do, which I mentioned earlier, but you'll be able to see it easier here, is you don't want to press off with this non-working leg, okay? So when you do that, these muscles aren't working as much, right? So that's what we want to avoid as well. And then once more, I just want to remind you again, especially now when we're on that working leg and doing all the reps on that leg, we have to really work at keeping those hips level, right? So that this one doesn't drop, because now it's kind of hanging out in the air mostly for a pretty good portion of the time, right? So just like this. The other way you can do step-ups, instead of doing all the reps on one leg and just tapping the leg down and keeping the weight on the working leg, you can simply do what we did at the beginning of the how-to, which is to step up and then transfer your weight to the non-working leg as you step down. So you're gonna fully step down each time. When you do that, you can still leave your working leg on the step. There's no need to bring it back down really, unless you want to, you can do that too. But this will take the weight and the tension off this muscle in between, and you can do it like that, shifting the weight, non-working leg, step up, shift your weight back again, step up. So that can be another option as well. Thanks for being with me today, ladies. Once again, I'm Rizal, and if you're a woman in your over 40s like myself and you'd like to do full-length workouts, follow-along ones with me in beautiful outdoor nature settings with chill music, key word there, key 2 words, chill music. If you like my style of teaching and that sounds good to you, come on over to my website at inspirefulwomen.com.